open wide, the virtual stage where ideas spark and wisdom fills the page. From the UK to the land of maple trees, John and Mike bring clarity with ease. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine, your message taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine, your message taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we grow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to Lord Zoom Live. I'm John Drinkwater, a Zoom community champion. Mike Latters in the background, also a community champion helping us out. And I was going to show off my fantastic new studio setup today, but then I had a message from one of our Zoomies, Josh Bragg. He said, do you realize we've just released Content Studio? And I thought, Content Studio? What's this? Well, that's what we're going to look at today. We're going to look at Content Studio. I've been using it for the last 2 hours, so I know very little about it at all, apart from the fact that I think I want to know more. So I haven't had enough time yet to get a meeting with Josh to go through the details. So we are going to go back to the traditional method of going to Zoom support and reading the Zoom support document. And the first document I want to read you, I've now lost on all my pages I have here. Yes, I have here. The first one I want to read to you is actually this one here. And I'll read it out to you because, you know, that's what I'm here for. So how it works is very simple. You can take a video clip, you can upload a video clip, or you can take a recording of one of your shows. As far as I can see, anything you put in your video management slot, you can use. Now, let's cut this down to who can use it. This is a product inside Zoom Events, so you will need a Zoom Events license to use it. You are probably in the future going to need a license to use Content Studio separately, but this is the pre-release demo, have a look at it time. Zoom have given it to everybody for free for the moment. They may take it away at any time. They may hold it on for any time. We just don't know. So it is a tool for taking content from your events package, or you can upload something from completely nowhere else, anywhere else, wherever you like. And it will then chop it up into snippets. That's the idea. It can do it with text content. It can create text content. It can do something with images. So you create a project and you can then create assets. Now, this does take a little while to process. So guess what? I did one earlier. I'm going to show you to that in a moment. But what's interesting for me is how generous Zoom have been this time, because sometimes the limits they give us are not very generous, but they have given us Content Studio limits, which allow us to create up to 8 hours of source video per month. That is a significant amount of content. That's effectively 2 hours of content a week, which is generous. And hopefully that will encourage people to make good use of this to see what sort of content you produce. Because I already know what the problem is going to be, and it's got nothing to do with Zoom. The problem is going to be us. How is an AI going to know when we get from one subject to another? How's it going to know in the clip? This is not a problem just for Zoom. This is a problem for all the tools that I've seen. How do they know when we stop talking about a particular subject, and how do they know which bit is going to be a useful clip? And I have used quite a few tools already around this, and I have used our 1 hour shows, and quite often I've only ended up with 2 or 3 clips, and they've not been very good. However, Zoom's been better than that. So if I pick that window out of the way, I will show you, this is how it tells you to do it. So you sign into Zoom Events, you click Create a Video, and then you have some settings, something called a recipe. And that really gets me fascinated, because we all know the problem is, how's the AI going to know what to do? But if we have different recipes, then there could be different tactics that Zoom can use to process different content. If you're following me, this sounds fascinating. But you also have the ability to set the ratio of the image. You can generate text and voice tone. You can change the output language. So you could create a clip in you could have an original in one language, and then you could create a clip in another. Now, I haven't tried all these features, but just the scope that Zoom has dropped this in as is really exciting. I won't say fascinating anymore. I've said fascinating too many times now. So if I can now find the right window, because I've got so many windows open here, I feel like a cathedral. There it is. And I'll bring down this window. And here I have, as Josh tipped me off about this feature, I've taken one of the events that Josh and I did. And you can see here, it took about 15 minutes to process this. And like any app, it got to 90% quite quickly, and then took a long time to get the last 10%. So don't expect the percentage processing to be linear. As in all these things, it went fast to start with, and then it hesitated at about 40%, and then it whizzed on a bit more. And I'm sure it was processing at the same time, which was cool though. I thought it was just going to go through and do a read through, and then it would go and process the content afterwards. But no, it produced it all in one go. And these are the clips that I have automatically generated by the system. So let me show you how that generation works, and then we'll look at the recordings. So you have your recordings here, so you can go and find a recording you want so that you know how to find it. But when you know what you need, you just click on this button here and you get a list of all your files. It is easier if you know which one you want, and then you can just put it in. So if I wanted a community one, I could do COMM to get me on my community videos. And this is what I love. This concept of a recipe is really good. Now, we've had this type of thing in Zoom AI before, where it does clips, and when it does summaries of your meetings, you can use a recipe. I don't think they call it recipes in there, but you can use a recipe for what the reason for doing your recording is. So it will process it in different ways. But you can have these different recipes, and yes, I have managed to make that bigger. I thought I wasn't going to be able to then. So you've got these recipes. So you can have a post-event follow-up, a internal recap type, or a learning recap. And with 8 hours, it's going to be possible for us to play with all of these. And then we've got this instruction. And you've got some suggestions of what the instructions could be. So find a puncture moment under 30 seconds. This is quite good ways of asking AI what type of clip you want. So this is the suggestion. So we can do that. And then once you've got your video, you've chosen your recipe, You can choose the processing range. So maybe you don't want the whole content processed. Maybe there's certain time zones that you want the AI to look at. You hit your instruction and then you hit generate. Even though I've got 8 hours, I'm still going to make them very precious. I'm not going to use one just at random, just like that. I'm going to go back now and show you what we got. So this is the project that we created. This was a Lord Zoom Live with Josh. And if I click into the project, I then get the fact that it's created 20 assets from an hour's content, which is quite cool. We've got this branding for the project, which I hadn't even noticed until this second when I've just seen it. So we can put in an intro and an outro. We can what? We can apply an intro and outro to all our clips. Mike, I need some support here for my jaw because it's going to keep bouncing off the floor at this rate. This is so cool. I am excited.
I know.
And then we've got, now I'm going to be upfront with you. Okay. I did say it's our problem, not AI's. Josh has the same problem as me. He doesn't stop talking. And I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to start thinking about how we present our content, because it's very difficult for an AI to find a clip if we just don't stop talking and there's never a space between our sentences and we just keep going on at such a pace that there's never a chance for it to cut in. So maybe we're going to have to start adding some more dramatic pauses into our content. But let's have a look at the ones that it did produce. And you can see that it gave them all a score, which is cool. If I knew what the score meant, it would be even more cool. But I'm guessing it's the quality it thinks of the clips. So these are not in clip order. These are actually in score order. And so we'll take the best one that it produced and let's have a listen for how well it does. Noting that we are not tied to this because there is an edit button here. And I can also rename or delete if the content isn't what I want. But let's just play it as it is. And at this point, I have to thank Mike, who came up with a cunning plan that I've turned down my system volume because Josh is a bit loud when he talks. And we found that even helped within Production Studio to make the recording quieter. So if I got my screen share settings correctly, this is Josh. I'm not going to edit it. This is how the AI jumped in and grabbed the content.
So I'm excited about that training. But Simulive starts to bridge these two concepts a little bit, which is pre-recorded content with live engagement. And I think that could be a really powerful thing. I don't even know if I fully always understand the value of what a Simulive could be, but you know, in short, I can pre-bake content, not worry about delivering that in the live session, and it just takes the weight off of the delivery for the live session while maintaining all the live audience engagement. So for me, what that's looked like is it's just scaled my ability to be a good trainer. So I do nice content, you know, once or periodically, however I do it, I play it. And then when I still go host the session, but then I can just focus on questions, chat, and engagement. And that makes me almost two people, right? So doing kind of multiple things at once. For sure, it's less stressful because I did the live presentation earlier, or sometimes I've even edited together a presentation just to make sure that I demo all the pieces I want to demo in the right way without having to figure out how to facilitate that part all live. And it just kind of makes my stress go down and lets me focus on the audience. But
so there we have it. I was trying to find out how you get the time to show, and you just move your mouse away. So the total length of the clip shows there's no recording bar or anything like that running across it. It's just the clip. And of course, as I said, the issue is going to be for us is going to be how to start and how to end. The end was pretty much chunked off, but then Josh doesn't stop talking, so the AI doesn't really have a chance to cut it up. But we can now go and hit the edit button, and it opens a box, and we have pretty much as Zoom has had before. We've got this ability now to clip, and we had the transcript. Transcript's on the left-hand side. It used to be on the right-hand side for other clips when they edit it. Don't know why they swapped it around, but they have. And I've got a toolbar control here, so you can see I pull that across. It's following the words. So I could ask Josh not to start sentences with a but, or I can just hit just past where he says that, and I could take it from there. And then you can see, I hope you can see, I don't think I can make it any bigger. Oh, I can, except that now ruins the screen, so maybe I won't make it any bigger. But I can take my little mouse over there, and I can pull the clip over. Except, of course, I've now lost my transcript because I made it too big. So it's going to take a bit of shuffling around to show you, but maybe I'll close that window. There we are. That makes things easier, doesn't it? And I can get the Simulive to be there. And now it's chopped off the beginning. So now Simulive starts is the beginning of the sentence. So if I try playing it, when I can work out where the play button is, which should be a bit more intelligent at the beginning now rather than being a cut in. So let's see what it looks like now.
Simulive starts to bridge these two.
Perfect, hey? That's perfect. The fact that he waffled on and said but before doesn't exist now. It's now starting with a complete sentence. It sounds like
Concepts a little bit, which is
it just sounds like he's just gone straight into the subject. So that works really well. And then, of course, I could go to the other end of the content and maybe choose a better place to end the clip. And I've got the ability then to export it up here in the top right-hand corner. So I can export the clip. The other thing you said about ratios, you see there's a pull down here. I can actually take the content in a different ratio. So if I did I don't know, link it in 1:1, you can see it's not doing anything super intelligent, but it's just cropping the area of the screen. So that's not too bad. But one of the things you can do is look, if he happened to be slightly off screen, or I wanted it slightly off screen, I can do that. I can resize as well. So I've got the ability within that, I've now made it too small, but I've got the ability within that ratio to play around with the video, which I think is really clever. I haven't even hit the word on layers because I don't understand how layers work. Oh yes, I do. I can add text, so I can add a title as well. The more I do this, the more exciting. I'm getting so excited. Mike, this is really cool. For Zoom usually give us like a beta. It's going to be like this. What do you think, guys? But this has got loads of stuff in it.
Sure does. Sure does. Make those easy TikTok. It's looking very TikTok-ish, what you're playing with right now, John.
Yeah, I can go to 9:16 TikTok Reels as well. Yeah.
There you go. Perfect.
And then I can resize the video as I want to.
Yeah, put it wherever you want to, knowing that it's going to be based on a phone.
Yeah, I can even pick up the script.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make that appear in a different place if I want it to. I've got a scale and a crop button there, but you could just pull the bars. That's easier. And if you don't think that's enough, well, why not? I can create an image with some AI, or I can upload an image. They've got some stock images as well. Hold the front page. This is cool. That's now. Oh, of course, I've done it twice now. That now appears on my timeline. So the images I can timeline. Let's delete one of them. So I could have an image, and I could timeline it by grabbing there. You see, grab that end. It's very intuitive because I haven't had any training on this yet. Haven't been able to find any time with Josh to go through this, but look, there we are. So now that image will then pop up. Oh, I think that's just I thought there was an effect there, but it's not. It's just the way the system's loading. So I've got a graphic which I can have loaded at a particular time, and then it will disappear again. And I really don't want to know what AI enhancement does. Remove filter words. I think they may be saying remove filler words rather than remove filter words. So we found one bug is a spelling mistake, but they've also got the ability to remove pauses. Well, we're not going to need pauses removed when Josh and I are speaking, because we never give more than about 1/100th of a second of a space between sentences. But for those people that want to get rid of the longer pauses, you can choose a pause duration, and then it's going to take those out as well. This is absolutely amazing. That is all I can say. Absolutely amazing. For a first time go. Now, I know they've been playing around with these AI things with other bits of Zoom, so maybe they've had some practice, but a first time go to bring this into Zoom events is quite amazing. 20 clips it found out of an hour's worth of content. They're about 1 minute to 2 minute each. That's not bad at all. You need to get around to play with this, because you just don't know how long Zoom are going to use it, they're going to make it available for us. But 8 hours of content to play with in a month, that really should be enough for people to have a go with this and see if it's got some value. And I'm pretty sure it will do. And I have to say, this is easily, in my book, the best attempt at this type of technology I've seen, with the exception of the big video editing packages. But after saying that, I don't think the big editing packages have the AI skills yet to produce the clips to the level that this does. So this editing that it can do is as good as the Camtasias, the Adobe Premiere, Blackmagic's software. These are as good as any of those. And having it built in means I don't have to export it to somewhere else. It's all here for me. And if I happen to have a piece of content that is maybe a meeting recording by a colleague of mine, then all I need to do is just get the video, and maybe it's recorded externally on a phone or a camera. I can import it into my recordings in my Zoom events, and then I can create my edited version, and then I can export it again. This is mind-blowing. And I'm really, 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 really impressed.
John, we have a question. Hi, everybody on YouTube. Hi, everybody. We have a question from YouTube.
Okay.
Our wonderful person, Mr. Ray Franklin. You may know him.
I know Ray.
Ray is asking about, and I quote, let's see, does it have audio sweetening? Meaning, can you manipulate the audio in one way or another in the interface?
Yes, but not as you expect. Because you can actually translate the content into another language.
Right, but I believe Ray is also talking about too that if it's too quiet or the person's too quiet, can you modify the audio in that regards too?
No, there's no editing you can do that I can see of the audio. You get it as you want. So I can get rid of filler words. I can remove pauses, but that's all I can do with the audio. Here we actually turn the audio down by just changing my system volume down so that we wouldn't deafen you all in the audience, because it is quite a little bit louder than we'd hope it to be. So no, you can't do that, I'm afraid, Ray. You'll just have to play it at a quieter volume or boost your volume when you play it. But you can do something which is even more weird, and I've got to remember now where I found it when I did it. I think it's when you create the content, but you can do some translations. So we can create a clip of the content and we can ask questions. But I did notice in the notes, it did say about you being able to choose languages going in and out. I haven't worked out where that is in the in the system itself. But Zoom have done this sort of thing before, so it isn't a surprise. Meaning your CEO or leader or whatever can do their presentation in one language, and then you can translate their content into another language for employees around the world. But
John,
you can't
did it have
edit
anything,
it.
Did it have anything in the release notes that you were showing earlier?
Not about the audio that I saw, no.
What about the translation?
Okay, so let me bring that down again so we can have a look at that again. So you can create a video or upload from your library or whatever. You need to choose the recipe, which we talked about, which is what the assets are. You can generate additional content. In other words, this is not a first or one pass scenario. We can go back and use it a couple of times. We can edit the clips, as we just had a look at. We can export and share the files. And then we have a limit of 15 text assets per project, up to 10 images per project, up to 40 clips per project when it's creating content. And then if I find the other piece of information about creating it, I should find out when it's to the... Okay, so when you're generating the text, you can toggle the text on and off, and then you can choose the text type, and that allows you to choose the voice tone and the output language. So that's customized next to recipe. It says the instructions. So if I find the thing again, oh, it's there, isn't it? So many windows. So if I go create a new one, let's start another project. So select settings. Okay, so here we've got a recipe. So maybe you want to do a post-event follow-up marketing comment. We can choose the time that we want. And then you've got this customize button here. So we can choose the clip ratio, so we can manipulate it now. You remember a few seconds ago I was manipulating it in the edit, but we can actually manipulate what we want at the beginning. We can ask it to generate the text, which is got here. We've got various types of content that we can make for generating the text. This is where our professional or informative or whatever voice is, and we can set an output language to, I don't know, Japanese, Swedish, Italian. So we can make him speak in Italian. Oh, it's not him, it's me, isn't it? So we can choose a small clip area because I don't want to load in Italian. I like Italian, but I'm not going to understand it. So I can change the content maybe to that one, to that bit there. And you can see now it also tells me how much it's going to use my time limit. And then I can hit generate. I also chosen a short one because I know it takes a while. So this is processing 9 minutes. As you can see, it flew for the first 10% and now it's slowing down as it's doing another bit of the processing. Do we have any other questions while we're waiting for that to finish, Mike?
Oh, I just wanted to make sure I was off mute. Okay, no. Ray just came back with very, very complimentary. He said, still good. Oh, another good contribution, guys. We'll catch up in playback. Okay, thanks, Ray. But he says, I've been using Descript. It's comparable, is what he's saying.
I would agree with that.
Descript?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Okay, that's good. No other questions at this time, Johnny. Continue. How are we doing there? Is it generating 40%?
40% is processing pretty well.
Yeah, so we're doing this live, so then you get to actually see how long it actually will take for. How long will that clip be, John? Be about
It's about
what,
7 minutes. I've given it only 7 minutes of content, so it's not going to be able to find that many clips in 7 minutes. Is it 7 minutes of content? I'd expect it to get a couple. But I haven't been very scientific in choosing my time. I just dragged the bars over so you can see what the processing's like. Maybe I've given it too little time and it's stressing over trying to find some decent content. But I think it is amazing. So while we are waiting, as soon as I go into another subject, I know I'll speed up, so I'm going to challenge it. While we're waiting for that, in other news, another Zoomie pointed out to me that there is a update to Zoom Rooms. And I'm just working it out. I'm going to try and share that YouTube as well. And the thing is that Zoom have managed to show off here Zoom Rooms running on just an iPad, whereas traditionally what I've considered is that the iPad is the controller and the Zoom Rooms runs on another device. And the audio should play through this because we've got audio sharing coming on.
1, 2, 3, go!
At Zoom, we're all chasing the same things: innovation, simplifying, meeting you wherever you are, wherever you work, on whatever device you already have. That's why I'm really excited to share with you the iPad Zoom Room for external display. This is the most cost-efficient, robust, and frictionless way for you to deploy Zoom Rooms. You no longer need the dedicated compute. Everything can run directly from your iPad. Once you download the Zoom Room application on the iPad, all you need to do is use the single USB cable, connect directly to the iPad. Once you connect, then the module is automatically loaded with absolutely no steps, no support articles, nothing that you really need to dedicate too much time on deployment. As you can see, very simple to scale. The display becomes your vision for everything that you're going to see on the screen, such as your shared content, your various different layouts. Meanwhile, the controller continues to be how you drive the overall experience that you're already very familiar with. Speaking of familiarity, we integrate with Office 365, Exchange, and Google Calendar. We can also reduce the toggle task by having the experience inside of our Zoom Workplace client. You can identify the room right within the client when you're booking. So you book as you always do. Your users do not need to learn anything new. Walk into the room through that integration with the calendar. You are able to get the one click to join.
That is brilliant. And it's brilliant for one really simple reason. Less devices. I'm not sure which iPads you can run it on, because I'm not sure how I run an external screen on my little iPad. Maybe iPad's not powerful enough, but that is fantastic news, because it means in a corporate environment, you don't necessarily need all that Zoom Rooms paraphernalia. You can run your Zoom Rooms experience from an iPad. That's going to save corporates a lot of money. It's going to make it more flexible for running Zoom Rooms more easily, because just imagine it now, you can just carry an iPad into an office and you can start using Zoom Rooms experience, Mike. I mean, that's just so much easier than what we've traditionally been, where you've got this dedicated you've got this dedicated room with all your video conferencing thing, and then you bring the iPad in to bring your Zoom controller to control your room. Now you just bring your iPad. That's mind-blowing.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really cool that they've been able to bring it down to something that is a tablet based, because already in most situations, like you were saying, John, in most situations already you're using the iPad for it to already be the Zoom Room controller. So might as well have the whole engine. If the engine can handle being in the actual iPad itself, then
yeah,
why not?
I jumped on the same thing myself. What level of iPad will run it? But that doesn't matter. Even if you had to buy a new iPad, it is still far cheaper and more efficient. Even if you had to buy a newish model on iPad, just shows how powerful they are, but also just shows how flexible the Zoom client is for doing that sort of thing. And we're up to 97% for those that want to know. So it almost seems to take us, well, I suppose it does, because most of the, well, I don't know, is most of the work in processing the videos, because this is taking almost as long as it did when it was processing an hour long. Or maybe the cloud is a bit more busy now because I've just encouraged everybody to use the tool. We don't know. In the cloud, things happen. So you just left it. In fact, there is a minimize button on the tool, so you can just tell it to go away and come back when it's finished. Doesn't really matter. The fact is, it works, and I am blown away by it. I've not been this excited since I found that I had some more ice cream hidden in the fridge. But this is great. Yes, like all apps, when it gets to sort of 96, 97%, it always slows down because it's teasing you now that it's nearly finished, but then it takes longer at the end. I've got a feeling this is probably a prerequisite requirement of using the percentage complete button within Windows, because I don't know of any app that doesn't slow down when it gets to 97 or 98% before it carries on again. So that's what we wait for. And for those that have just come on, or those that have forgotten, and I have tried to get this to be produced in Italian, so this will be a good indication of how it translates. Because don't forget, of course, that whenever Zoom does these recordings, it's always in there doing the captions, and therefore it's got all the text. And I do wonder if that's what it's using for finding the gaps between the content. But even if it does slightly go over or under what you want, well, if it goes under, you're in trouble because it's not there. But if it goes over, then you can edit down. And the other thing I liked, and I should have put on this one, is you can put a beginning and an end on the content. Should have chosen that really. So you can put in you can make this clip work really well. I'm gonna be stuffing my social media with these and see how well they work. I'm 99%. I'm getting almost excited now. Going to see what I sound like in Italian. At this point, I would turn on the drum roll effect, but as soon as I go to start that, I'm sure it will just appear. And those of you who now realize why, I created one earlier. So let's review again. You need to be using Zoom Events. If you have a Zoom Events license, this is available free of charge for you for a limited time. Don't know how long limited time is going to be. It's a bit of a catch-22 here. If nobody bothers playing with the demo, the limited time will extend. So maybe I should encourage you not to try it so I can play with it longer. But I would prefer you all to play with the limited time version, and then Zoom will get some data about how effective it is, because Zoom is not going to know how good this AI is until we all start playing with it. I'm pretty sure they've been playing with it internally, but until it has real world experience with you and me and our events, they're not going to know how effective it is. So you will be helping yourself and helping Zoom if you try this tool, because then they will learn more about how effective it is, and they can then work on making it even better. And the other question I can't answer for you is, I don't know how much it's going to be. I have no idea. I have found nothing on the pricing at all. But I would assume that it's going to be in the same sort of price range that other things are with Zoom. I don't know if this is going to be tokens to count against your Zoom Mate subscriptions, or whether it would be a separate subscription of its own. I have a feeling it's going to be a separate subscription of its own, but then Zoom may just confuddle it all and just put it into the Zoom Mate. I know what it's like to be now on live news when you're waiting for a reporter to come out of some meeting and they're never there. You can keep kicking it, Mike. It's just going to stay on 99% as long as it can.
I know. We almost have to run down to the server and go, come on now. Come on. You can do it.
Somebody blow the cloud.
Yeah. Just to prove it, everybody, we're still 99. Here we go.
Why should I be ever surprised that it sticks on 99%? Because that's what all these tools do.
Mm-hmm. All right. While we're waiting for that 1%, everybody on YouTube, let us know in chat if you have any questions. Do you think this is cool? Are you going to try it? Do you have Zoom events that you can try it? Because again, you need to have the Zoom events area or license, I should say. And this is not just for Webinar Plus, correct, John? This actually is an events license that this affects, that you can start playing with.
Don't know.
Oh. Okay.
I'm going to assume it's in Webinar Plus, but I don't know because the support document says sign this to Zoom events. So
right,
it doesn't tell me which product it works for. Maybe I'll find that in a minute. But what I was going to do, as I'm getting fed up waiting for it, is I thought I would go down to the bottom of my list of clips that produced earlier, and I'll play you the one that only got a score of 6.8. And so we can all see why we think it would be a 6.8. It's 1 minute, 16 seconds of content. Let's see how good it is for the content. Actually, what we'll do is we'll play it in the edit box, because then we can see everything that's going on. So there it all is. And I'm just going to play it from the start. Here we go.
So I can do that here on my computer in another browser, or I've often brought in a iPad, just use an iPad that's also on the same network. And then I kind of have a dedicated audience interaction dashboard, which
Ah, did it get a score? I've noticed some filler words, so why not? Let's try the audio enhancement to remove filter words, which we're pretty sure is filler words. So let's give it a go. It's found 5 ums and 4 r's. So we'll remove the ums and we'll remove the r's. Or should we just remove the ums? Let's just remove the ums. So I hit remove. And I've now given the cloud another job to do. So that will keep it really busy now, won't it?
Yeah, we'll see how long that actually takes, John. It might actually not be that difficult.
That long.
That long. Did it already do it, John?
I don't know. I don't know how I know when it's done it. Well, they've disappeared. Look.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. The words have disappeared. Now, does that mean that actually purposely
I can do
skips
that here on my computer in another browser.
It's worked already. Did anyone see the jump cut there? Let's see what it's like.
So I can do that here on my computer in another browser, or I've
Yeah, I
often
did.
brought in a iPad, just use an iPad that's also on the same network. And then I kind of have a dedicated
I
missed
haven't
that
taken that.
one.
I'm out.
Yeah, because it was capitalized.
Capital is allowed.
audience
is it?
interaction dashboard, which I think is a really kind of fun way to do it. I haven't done it where I've actually like showed the audience that I'm doing
Cool.
that, but that's kind of an
I found that
interesting
one.
It's I don't know if it sounded like it was still there.
way to do it. I haven't done it where I've actually like showed the audience that I'm doing that, but that's kind of an
Yeah,
interesting.
that cut off.
Wait.
That didn't cut off as well, but
Yeah, because his was too close to the
yeah,
eye.
Josh is gabbling so fast that it couldn't find the gap as well for that one, but it
Yeah.
still took it
Way to
out.
kind of do it too. Hey, I have all of your comments, all of your questions here right in front of me. Let's look at them throughout the show. So I might start incorporating that when I host, but love how we can
So if we didn't like the R, we could take those out as well.
Yeah, let's take the ahs out too. Why not? No more filler words detected. Okay. Oh my. Did it really? Did it really take out whole paragraphs now? John says,
Or was that just because of the playback head?
I
Let's
can
see.
do that on my computer in another
there's another one
browser,
taken
or
out?
I've often brought in a iPad, just use an iPad that's also on the same network. And then I kind of have a dedicated
Missed that one.
audience interaction dashboard, which I think is a really kind of fun way to do it. I haven't done it where I've actually like showed the audience that I'm doing
one
that,
cut
but
out
that's
well.
kind of an interesting way to kind of do it too. Hey, I have all of your comments, all of your questions here right in front of me. Let's look at them throughout the show. So I might
Missed that
start
one.
incorporating that when I host, but love
that one.
Yeah. So an R spelt UH. That looks like some feedback to go back to Josh. Josh's R's are seen as UHs and therefore are going to be missed.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah, I was going to say it would be really nice to actually click on the actual word and then classify it as a filler word. That would be nice. So if, above and beyond the auto detect, all of a sudden, let's say you didn't want this word to ever be said during the whole time. Should it be like a swear word? Let's say you could actually find the swear word in there and actually classify it as a filler word and get rid of it.
Let's look
If
at
it doesn't
them
already.
at the show. So I might start.
Yeah, I can edit words out.
Oh, okay.
So I can go to a word. Whoops, wrong button. Can hit delete. And that word has now been cut.
Might start when I host, but love how
Oh,
we
I
can
don't
bring
like
these
him. It's too much love. Don't like the. His English is so bad. So there we are. You do not start your sentences with a but.
True.
So I need to get the cursor before. So
Host of how we can bring these things in physically or virtually, but I really, really like when people get to design shows based on interaction, based on the audience's response and the audience's comments, and let the audience drive the show as much as possible.
So I hope you all noticed that one. That was full of and they all have gone. So that works really, really well. And you can cut out the second really when you edit this. Impressed I am. Of course, now I'm trying to work out how I get back to my other bit. So let's get back to my other bit. There it is. So I can go back into this project, and I think it's finished by now. Oh my. How's it found 18 assets in 7 minutes of content? That is scary. Okay, so it's probably got all 7 minutes. Mind you, it thinks this is a good one. It's got a score of 9.4. Let's see what it sounds like as a score of 9.4. We'll start it in the edit thing because we find that more interesting, don't we? So here's its first clip. This is the best clip it thought it found in the content. Let's see what you think.
You don't have to have a passcode though. All right. But you must have one security feature. It's no longer possible because it's too easy to break into. It's no longer possible and has not been for a long while to have a meeting with just a meeting number. You must have a second level of security. So if you're not going to have the passcode, then the simplest option is to have a waiting room. And if you have a waiting room, you can then check who the people are before you let them in your meeting. And it is possible to have people in your account to automatically bypass the waiting room.
That was a good clip.
That was an excellent clip. I think I chose that show on purpose because I thought it was very clippable. I think it's
Sure.
clippable could be the adjective.
Yeah.
Because it was a community show where I was just giving out tips, so I did think that was going to be quite clippable. Zoom seemed to think it was clippable because, as you saw, I only gave about 7 minutes of content, and I've got so many clips. I'm not sure how it's managed to squeeze that many clips out of the time I gave it, but I'm starting to wonder if it went outside the bounds of my...
The first one is we can invite people. So we can type in usernames, we can type in email addresses. If I type in parts of usernames and things, they will appear in... So if I go to 3 letters, it will now look...
So that's a 50-second clip. There's a 30-second clip here.
This is making a transcript of everything I say.
I was just playing the beginnings of them to see how well they lead in, and they do sound like they would work as clips.
Now,
The
John,
next
question
thing is-
from me is that, was this not supposed to be in Italian? Or was this the one that you did that was Italian?
No, this was supposed to be in Italian.
Okay.
But at least I was trying to make it in Italian, but it doesn't seem like it's been made in Italian. So I don't know if I made a mistake or it doesn't
Okay.
work.
Is there another maybe audio track? Maybe it did multiple audio tracks.
Don't see anything.
Okay.
By the way, you can rename the clips, which is useful because that means you can rename them to make them applicable for what you were just talking about.
Yeah, and they've nicely embossed the actual font so that it actually pops out from your white background too.
Yeah, but you can change that.
Nice.
Is that the highlight color or the main color? Don't know now. Okay, so the coloring thing isn't working.
No, you might have to scroll down a little more, John. The button to say OK.
What, you
is
think there's an
probably-
apply button? Oh, I'm gonna have to make
Yeah.
the screen smaller. There's an OK button.
Yeah, there you go.
So we got full control on that. We can make it italic as well if we want to. So that's our caption. We can play around with our caption. We've also got our video. Ah, didn't somebody ask about the volume?
Yes. Okay, so that was okay.
So
Alright.
you can go up to 200% and you can go down to 0. So there we are. We found the answer. You can edit the volume level. That'll make him a very happy man. That was Mr. Franklin, wasn't it, who asked that one?
Yep.
So yes, you can change the volume.
Yeah, so that would definitely, it's not per person, of course, it's still per video. So
Yeah,
what
it's
that would
still
mean
per
is-
video, but I mean,
Right. That's big still.
but you can't do it per person because we haven't done a recording which is separating out the people. So
Right. We're not
there's
we're not
no
doing it live.
understanding. Yeah, there's no understanding of the different speakers in these recordings.
But yeah,
So
if
you-
you accidentally were too loud and you were by yourself, in this case, this is one video you did by yourself, John. So
Yeah.
this would have been, so you would have been able to go, yeah, no, I'm a little quiet, so I'll
Yeah,
fix
and
that
then,
before I
and it's the
actually
clip.
get-"
Yeah, and it's clip wide as well, Mike. So
Right.
so although we've said you can't do it for individual people, it is per clip. So if one person's clip is quieter than the other person's clip, then you've got the ability to change the volume before you
Right.
do
Right.
it.
So if if it is specific, like let's say all of a sudden you wanted just Josh to talk, we could actually just have Josh's clip because he was too loud to be lower.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that means we don't really need any, hopefully we don't really need any other processing. So once you've got this laid out as you want, you can add images, you can add text, you can play around with the captions. Once you've done all of that, then you should just be able to hit the export button and you can download it or send it to your content library.
Nice.
But of
What are
course,
we downloading as, John?
MP4, I think. Oh, it's now got to do that for me. There we are. It's now doing that in the background, giving it lots of work to do in the cloud. Perhaps that'll
Well, it's not
encourage
taking
it
too
to
long.
rain as well. Oh, it's only got about a minute's worth, 54 seconds to process, so it should be quite quick. And there it
Very
is.
nice.
And as I predicted, it is an MP4.
There we go. Perfect.
And because we've been able to do all the editing in Zoom, other
Yeah.
packages are available but not needed. We could upload this straight into our social media now and
Yeah.
make use of
It's
it,
ready
which
to
is
go. Yeah.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is, guys, just play with this. I would love to know if anyone's got a pay-per-view license and whether they get this. That would be an interesting thing to find out.
PPA, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Paper attendee.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
if they had that, would that be available for those license holders?
It would be useful.
It would be nice for them to see.
See where you're. Yeah, I would see where they might not get it.
Yeah, but this
because-
is the free. This is the free. Have a look. Zoom want you to play
Right.
with it and get some feedback. So it would make sense for me to give it to those people as well.
Yeah.
So anybody who's got got a events license can have a play with this tool. This is just cool. I really can't stop saying so. It is a very neat little tool, and I expect it will be very well used at Zoomtopia.
Or post
produce-
Zoomtopia even.
Yeah, to produce all the clips from Zoomtopia. Yeah,
So that they can put it up on LinkedIn, YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I see this totally going that way with them. Yeah. Or they might have already had this in the background already, but not public.
I'm sure they've been playing with it because I know they do.
Yeah.
I think I would have to think about my own presentations. So I would, and Josh and I are probably good examples. I think I would now start to consider how the AI is going to process my content after my event. So I might make it more obvious when I go from one subject to another,
Right.
so that the AI is going to find it easier to pick up those snippets. And
Yeah. The one Mississippi, two Mississippi, continue.
yeah, not run each subject into the next subject. Don't start your sentences with a preposition and all that stuff that we were told when we were at school.
School, elementary school.
Yes.
Yep.
About speaking proper, like what everybody should do. So don't start your sentences with a preposition, because it's very difficult to acquire a clip when it starts with but, because that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And don't put so. All those filler words, take those filler words out, although you can edit words, which is amazing. It's got an and ah counter, but Josh invented a new type of filler word called an UH, which Zoom missed. So Zoom need to update that so their Zoom employees can and ah in the right way and get caught. But you can edit out words completely and it just clips it, which again is okay. If you're very animated, well, you're very animated anyhow, so it will just chop out a second of your animation of you waving your hand or whatever. So I suppose the next thing to say is don't do special 1 and 2s and waves and things in the middle of your filler words, because otherwise they're going to get chopped out and you'll lose your gesticulations because the filler word killed them. It's still a really good tool, really well done, much better at finding clips than I've seen the other tools, including Zoom Zone so far. Haven't tried Descript in the last month or two. It's probably improved a lot because they all are. But a lot of the other tools I've tried were really bad at finding clips. And in a funny way, that's the hardest thing for the AI to do, is to read the script and then find where those clips are supposed to be. Once you do that, then all the fancy editing which Zoom has given us is fantastic. But if you can't find the original clips before you start, then there's no point in having fancy editing. But that's all I've got to say about this. So,
John, I think we have some breaking news, and I'll come back to you here momentarily.
okay. Well, don't
Breaking
really-
news from Tony in YouTube. Love you, Tony. I can see Content Studio in my Webinars Plus hub.
So we are right for a change. Wonderful.
Woo!
There you are, guys. It's been tested by one of our friends on YouTube. You've got an events license or a Webinar Plus license. You can try this tool. And as I said, I think the amount of time they've given us is so generous that it's not though you've got to cherry pick exactly what you want to do and get worried you're going to use up your allowance quickly. 8 hours is a really generous piece of content to start with. They obviously wrote it for us because we do hour-long shows. So our 8 hours can get eaten far quicker than other people's. But there it is. Actually, I've got a second events license, so I've got 16 hours of content I can play with.
Yeah. And Tony did want to give us an update too, that he says, I do not see it in Workplace Pro. So the Pro account. And that makes perfect sense, Tony, why you would not.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
again, you'd have to be at least the Webinar Plus license. Now, again, you can have Pro that has Webinar Plus or events on it, but Pro by itself, no.
Yeah, it does
Both
clearly say sign into Zoom events. So that was a very obvious light thing. But this Content Studio is amazing. Apart from the fact we couldn't get it to translate into Italian, which is a shame because I'd like to know how to edit my content in Italian. That's probably a user error. But otherwise, this is an amazing feature. Go and play with it. Really, just go and play with it. Go on, go now. Go in and play with it. I don't mind you all leaving before the end of the video. Go and play with it. This is so cool. And I'm going to start filling my LinkedIn and other social media with some clips now and find out how good this is. But I am really impressed. As I said, sometimes Zoom introduces things and they're so groundbreaking that there's no features and it's just a new product for us to play with. But they have been doing some editing and some clips in other parts of Zoom already. So this is really good. And if it works well, there's always the chance that they will take the same tech that they've got here and bring that back into Zoom meetings. You never know. If we can encourage them that this works well, then there's no reason why they couldn't consider bringing this back into the other thing. But remember, this is a separate product. It will at some time pay for some sort of subscription. However, if you didn't do it on here, you'd be paying a subscription to these other tools. So there's no, there's a reasonable reason why Zoom might justify charging for it. And if it takes your clips and does them as effectively as it did there, okay, it takes a while to process, but you don't have to be there. You can just give it the rules of what you want it to do and leave it and let it get on with it. And then when the cloud's finished with your answers, you can then just finesse the editing of them as well. You can add beginnings and ends somehow. We didn't work out how to do that either, but I'm just so excited. The time has flown by. I am Lord Zoom and I am smiling like a Cheshire cat. Mike, over to you.
Yes, you are. You're absolutely smiling. Yes, I am too. I'm very, very impressed with all the work that Zoom has done on the Context Studio. This succeeded there. This surpassed a lot of my expectations of what we'd be able to do. So this definitely is, yeah, I could see. Now, John, here's an interesting thing. I'll just throw this up before we wrap up. Can you actually make a clip now that actually could be imported into Production Studio?
Yeah.
Make my day.
Yeah, because you can download it or you can send it to your video content library.
Right, and then it would be an asset that you could actually bring in into a profile in the template.
Yeah.
Good.
And if you didn't do that, then you could do a screen share or you could do a video play and you could play the video. That would be the other option.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And Juju is laughing at us as usual because, we are what we are. There we go. Cool. Any last thoughts, John? Oh, John's looking. And he's very intense right now, so this could be a good thing. And he's not frozen on me, I swear.
So I can play a video clip directly from clips.
Okay.
But I don't have the ability to play a video out of the video content library as yet. Zoom?
No, that would be very useful. Because if it actually was into there, John, then it's accessible via Production Studio, right?
Yeah. So Zoom, you're making
right now
the hub a place where you keep files. We can't directly access either our events hub, where the video content is, or our personal hub, where we'd have video content. We can play clips straight out of the share, but we can't get into the video hub of recordings. So that would be nice to add as a next thing. And then we could pull them up straight out of our recording libraries.
Yeah. So
but if you had it as a clip, yeah. So you had it as a clip, or if you had it saved on your computer, then you could you could play it that way.
Yeah. So right now, John, correct me if I'm wrong. So this would be from Content Studio. We'd have to download it as a 16:9 version of the clip and then re-import it again into Production Studio when we have that capability in the scene. Did I do that right?
Yeah.
I think I did that right. Okay, good.
But the content that I've generated in my Zoom Events Hub, which we've just been playing with, I
Right.
don't have that available on my list of Zoom clips
Ah, okay.
because my Zoom clips that I can access is only the Zoom clips or the Loom clip. Anyhow, it's the ones that you create in Zoom clips. You
In Zoom,
can
yeah.
import into Zoom clips, so maybe I could take an event and then import it into my Zoom clips, but I can't get to the recordings, which is not a Content Hub issue. This is just the way that the share works at the moment, but it would be nice in the share to, now we're getting more of these content being created. It would be nice in the share window to be able to get access if you're in, as we are in events now. It'd be nice to get that, because that would save the complexity of running a video straight out of Production Studio live. Because again, in Production Studio, you have to import the files that you want to play before you start the show, the webinar, or the event. So if they got the share more extensive, then that would make things easier. But no, this is still a fantastic tool, and don't expect anything productive from me for the next 2 days because I'm going to be playing around doing Zoom clips. So that's my week sorted.
Zoom, you have to let John do the other things. Yeah.
So I'm now even more keen now to end this event because it's got to the hour. I don't know how I'm going to spend an hour just doing that. And I want to play with Zoom clips. In fact, I want to just Zoom clipify this recording as well. So I'm going to clip with my new toy. Thank you, Zoom.
Now, John, here's another quick one that I was thinking about. Can you ever see Content Studio being a feature for Zoom clips?
Well, Zoom clips already allows you to do some of this editing, but they've taken it to another level. I would expect that from sheer laziness of Zoom, you'd want to have the same app working on the different products. Unless, of course, we've got the old scenario of it could be a different team in Zoom who did it because it's an events product. But I would hope that they would, after time, they would make the same features available across of all the products. Otherwise, it would just get complicated for us because we'll have different versions of the same sort of feature. So I would like to see them roll that back into the world of editing in Zoom clips in the future. But it's very neat. It's very neat indeed.
Yeah, I've run out of questions. Those are mine for now.
Great. Well, in that case, I will say, clip you later, and let Mike find the closing theme tune, and he can do his little ditty as well. Thank you, Mike, for being here. Thank you for the guys who asked the questions, especially the question about the volume. I forgot about that. So that's good. And we will see you on our next shows. And
right.
yeah, I'll have to work out when I'm going to show off my studio again now because I bumped that episode off the playlist. So we'll do that another time. But for now, from my lovely, pretty studio, have a lovely day.
Take care, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this week on Lord Zoom Live. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I haven't seen any additional likes happen yet on there. So definitely like and subscribe to let YouTube know, which of course also lets Zoom know how much you love our content. And we're here every Tuesday at Let me do this, John. 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And check your local time zones for the appropriate time in your time zone to match up to the 3 p.m. Eastern. See everyone next week for another edition of Lord Zoom Live. Take care and have a great week.
Every week we open wide the virtual stage where ideas spark and wisdom fills the page. From the UK to the land of maple trees, John and Mike bring clarity with ease. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we grow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show. To breakout rooms with flair, we've got the tools and we're ready to share. Guest experts drop in, bringing gold each time, with insights and tricks to help you climb. Can't make it live, we've got you still on YouTube and LinkedIn. We're giving that thrill, so tune in later or catch us next round. Either way, your success is where we're bound. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we glow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show. Then make it live, we've got you still. On YouTube and LinkedIn, we're giving that thrill. So tune in later or catch us next round. Either way, your success is where we're bound. Now take the spotlight, the stage is yours. Bring your message through virtual doors. Each week we gather, and now you know you're not alone, so let it flow. Thank you for joining us, now go and shine. Share what you've learned, your voice, your time. With Lord Zoom Live, your power will grow. It's time to build your own show.